Hey, welcome back everyone. This is Uncle Frank, and I am not a financial advisor, nor is any of the content to be construed as financial advice. This channel is for entertainment purposes only. Hey, I'm delighted to report from Saturday that short sellers are down 180.9 billion in 2024 mark-to-market losses as Wall Street soars. Short sellers betting against the U.S. stock market had another difficult year in 2024 as they saw Wall Street's benchmark S&P 500 index log a second annual gain of plus 20%. Still, according to a report earlier this week, shorts significantly improved upon their mark-to-market losses from 2023. May the predatory short hedge funds choke on a penis in federal prison for 2025. In my opinion, the only good thing about payment for order flow is we get to trade for free, right? We can set limit orders so we can target prices we would like to enter and exit at, and we could start small. We could buy one share of a stock or index and learn more about the investment before we commit more resources. We could even create little portfolios and act like fund managers. You can even be your own tiny hedge fund if you want. In this episode, I'm going to share some of what I call my folders. Approaching the markets this way helps me with timing and spotting opportunities, and maybe it'll help some of you. Nowadays, we can all trade on desktops or phone apps, so this is a simple method to organize and optimize your trading and your decisions. On your screen is one of the first folders I check in the morning. I have it labeled Indexes Long. Let me show you how much information you can gather with just one glance at this folder, right? First of all, this folder includes all the major U.S. indexes. DIA is the Dow. SPY is the S&P 500. QQQ is the NASDAQ. And IWM is the Russell 2000. The first thing I want to know in the morning and when trading is what direction is the market heading in general. Thanks to this folder, I can see QQQ or the NASDAQ closed the highest on Friday, so big tech led the way. I can also see that small caps are the strongest after hours because IWM or the Russell 2000 is the highest of the group so far. At the bottom, I can click News and quickly review the headlines and stories that are impacting the big indexes specifically. So how would you use this to make trades, Uncle Frank? Well, I'll give you one example. On December 18th, I saw an article titled Dow Plunges More Than 1,100 Points and marked its longest losing streak since 1974. From that article, the Dow plunged Wednesday on a disappointing outlook from the Fed Reserve. In the process, the blue chip index extended its losing streak to 10 days, the longest such stretch since Gerald Ford was president. The Dow ended the day down 1,123 points, or 2.6%, after the Fed indicated in a policy statement that it is forecasting just 2 interest rate cuts in 2025, not the previously projected 4. The Fed now anticipates inflation will remain stubbornly above its target range for longer than it had initially expected. The Dow has fallen for 10 days in a row, the first time it has had such a losing streak that long since September 20th through October 4th, 1974, when the index fell for 11 sessions in a row. Okay, now that's interesting to me. If I believe the Dow is going to do better in the immediate future or in 2025 or under President Trump, maybe I'll buy this dip. I could buy one share of the DIA. Maybe I could buy the call options. If the index begins to recover, maybe I'll add more to my position. So on Wednesday, December 18th, DIA closed at 424.22. This past Friday, it closed at 427.16. The main reason I use this portfolio is before I buy any stock, I want to know which way the index it belongs to is trending. I don't like fighting the trend. So if the index in question is going down, I may still buy the stock, but my trade will be smaller. Under this example, if I believe the index is oversold and is set to rebound off its lows, I may commit a little more to the Dow stock I'm interested in buying. Now I want to show you another way I use folders to help with my research. Let's say you're sitting on the couch and you get an alert from the Zip trader and he reports that there are 4 or 5 stocks that politicians are buying. What you can do is set up a new folder. This one I named Congressional Buys, and I added the tickers to the folder. Now I can look at the charts, I can review the fundamentals, I can review the headlines, I can check short interest, I can even try to figure out exactly why the politician is acquiring the stock. I can even check that politician's performance record too. Anyway, out of the 4 or 5 stocks Charlie was analyzing, after I did my research, I picked GEVO, G-E-V-O. I opened a position on the 26th at $1.55, and then I added a little more at $1.61. And as of Friday, the stock is trading at $2.85. Now, this is not investment advice. I am not an investment advisor. I will never tell you to buy, sell, or hold any security or cryptocurrency. So I'm not telling anyone to buy GEVO. It's a renewable energy play. That's not my playground, so I sold into strength. This is just an example of how to effectively use folders to help with research and trading decisions. Another way I could use this folder is when I see the markets are down, I could check it and buy my favorite of the group when it's on sale. I'm not advising you to do this, but I could even buy 1 share of each for now. And now this has gone from being a folder to being a tiny portfolio made up of Zip Trader picks or just Congressional Buys. Now, I have lots of folders, as you can imagine, but here's one I think you guys will appreciate. I named it Crash Watch, and as you might expect, it contains a list of stocks that I might want to buy or buy more of in the event of a sell-off, a correction, or a crash. If there is a sudden event, I don't want to be searching around for what I want to buy. I don't want to panic. I just want to make good trading decisions. Another thing this folder is good for is if you missed a play, but you want to buy the dip the next time around. Let's say you missed that RGTI play. Now at a glance, you might be able to pick it up on a pullback. This is a nice reminder. Now, subscribers to this channel know that I'm Archer Aviation crazy, not investment advice or advisor. It's one of my favorite stocks of all time, but I use a folder to watch the entire eVTOL sector. If I see that red dot next to the news hyperlink, I click on it. I need to know what's going on in the entire sector, not just at Archer. In a new sector like eVTOLs, if something happens to Joby, it's also happening to Archer. If you look close, you'll even see Stellantis and Toyota in this folder. Why? Because they made significant investments in and are significant partners of Archer and Joby. Remember, I don't just need to know shit, I need to know it quick. Our enemies have Bloomberg terminals. They have expensive professional news feeds. They get information hours, even days before we do. Now, a lot of people sold Archer on a recent Friday because the company announced the following Monday it was doubling the amount of authorized common stock. Those people got the news before we did, or they read the shareholder vote details and anticipated how the stock would react. It sold off 10%, but that's okay, because this past Friday, the stock stormed over 20%. So the sellers can suck a circus freak-sized wiener. That's what you get for betting against my baby. Longtime viewers of the channel know I like to buy ETFs that pay me every month. My personal favorite is GUT, or the Gabel Utility Trust, not investment advice or advisor. I keep a folder named monthly payers, and for good reason. When the prices are down, the yields connected to the current price is elevated, meaning I'll get paid a higher yield. So at a glance, I can see which monthly payer is down the most. I can click on it to see if the current yield is attractive. I've already filtered out names I don't like, so I can buy with more confidence. For you gold and silver bugs, Happy New Year. You guys had a great year. That goes out to Don Pantaleo, the Winged Wolf. Of course, Optimal Projection. I keep a folder named Precious Metals. I know you all prefer physical gold and silver, but I do have names in there that buy the physical precious metals too. I can also get instant exposure to uranium, platinum, and palladium if I want. By now, I hope you see the value in using folders. I have ones just for meme stocks, AI and quantum, cryptos, and even biotechs. The most important one is labeled All, ALL, a folder that draws from all the other folders, so at a glance, I can be alerted to what is up or down the most. Then I can investigate why and see if there's an opportunity there. I plan to do a video on modern portfolio theory in the age of the small retail traders soon. Hope you tune in. All right, enough about all that. Let's get into it because we have an insane month ahead and I want to make some money. 2024 was a banner year for the markets amid the AI frenzy and the Fed cutting interest rates. The S&P gained 23%, NASDAQ 30%, and the Dow gained nearly 13%. Although major indexes rallied in 2024, the last 4 trading days of the year delivered a losing streak, marking the longest year-end decline since 1966. Question is, will this continue into 2025? Consumer spending continued to drive the economy, with retail spending climbing 4.1% year over year compared to 1.6% in 2023. Crypto trends remain in focus as Bitcoin surged to an all-time high of over 108,000, then slid back to around 95,000, more than 110% gain to close out the year. Gold and silver also experienced gains of 24.5% and 21.5% respectively. New Year's cyber attacks in the U.S. may contribute to market uncertainty and volatility. Russia's Christmas attack on Ukraine and ongoing tensions in the Middle East maintain concerns over global energy security and heighten geopolitical tensions. For my fellow AMC victims, there is an interesting popcorn bucket available by pre-order for you collectors. This comes from the movie Nosferatu's collection, in theaters now. They even have a blanket you can buy, a little something to keep Adam's mistress, Lindsay, warm. What's funny is some of you think I'm kidding. We are still chasing 2019 pre-pandemic levels according to Bloomberg. Sequels may not dominate the box office rebound. Quote, of the 10 highest grossing films released in the U.S. in 2024, all were in some way tied to previous movies. Next year's lineup is a mix of retreads and original films that's forecast to lift domestic ticket sales to $9.7 billion, the highest since the global pandemic, according to an estimate from Gower Street Analytics. There's your chart, box office recovery. Theaters struggle to return to pre-pandemic levels, but 2025 is looking better than 2024 so far. Guys, I always read what Bloomberg has to say over the weekend, not because I like Bloomberg, but because they always present what Wall Street and the powers that be want us to think. For example, here's the weekend edition. Welcome back to the forecast, where we help you think about the future from next week to next decade with predictions and analysis. This week, we're previewing CES, the Consumer Tech Show, keeping an eye on a looming U.S. port strike and tracking the chances of a bird flu pandemic. This year's Consumer Electronics Show will be all about AI. The CES 2025 kicks off Tuesday in Las Vegas and goes through Friday the 10th. From the article, Many of the most common use cases for AI so far have been professional, like coding assistants. But the companies presenting at CES are betting that AI isn't just for work. One startup plans to show an AI-powered spice dispenser. SoundHound AI Incorporated will be demonstrating use cases for generative AI in cars. There will be various AI-infused curiosities in the healthcare space, including a startup that claims to perform 90-second eye exams and a company that makes AI-powered hormone sensors. Expect lots of freshly updated AI PCs, as well as gaming laptops that use similar hardware. Here's Bloomberg's predictions. The AI rally isn't over. Pretty much every institution warns investors not to expect another year of equity returns topping 20%, just like they did a year ago. But few are ready to call an end to the artificial intelligence-fueled stock boom. TikTok will probably lose. We still give TikTok just a 30% shot to stop the U.S. government law mandating the popular video sharing service either shut down or change hands. China's EV king may find it hard to keep growing. BYD sold a record 4.25 million cars last year, narrowing the gap to global leader Tesla. But headwinds are growing. The full impact of European tariffs will start to be fully felt in 2025, while demand for EVs is showing signs of slowing in places like Southeast Asia. The bird flu could be catastrophic. Over 60 human cases of H5N1 bird flu have been detected in the U.S. since April, and California recently declared a state of emergency around the outbreak among dairy cows. But while people working with animals are at a higher risk of infection, public health experts warn that should the virus evolve to spread from human to human, the impact would be catastrophic. The chance that the World Health Organization declares H5N1 bird flu to be a pandemic by the end of July, according to Polymarket, 13%. Kalshi puts the chances of that happening by the end of 2025 at 24%. Metaculus, a no-money prediction platform, puts the chance of the WHO declaring it a public health emergency, a slightly different designation, this year at 29%. Okay, heads up, guys, you need to know this. On Tuesday, the International Longshoremen's Association is expected to resume contract talks with port employers as the threat of a strike looms. The ILA, a 47,000-member union representing cargo handlers at every major maritime gateway on the U.S. East and Gulf coasts, is threatening to walk off the job at midnight on January 16th as its leaders seek new protections from automation. Last week, Maersk, the world's #2 container carrier, urged customers to remove cargo from the affected ports before the mid-month deadline. You guys see why I use an events calendar? That's a day after we get CPI. That's the week prior to the Trump inauguration. That's the week most of Wall Street banks will report earnings. Do you realize that's the week the Treasury expects the government to hit the debt ceiling? Now, what if they drop a strike like this right in the middle of it? Most economists expect another strike will be a non-event if it lasts less than a week or two. Damage forecasts range from $1 billion to $5 billion in lost activity each day, a small fraction of the $29 trillion U.S. economy. But the problems start to compound if it lasts longer, leading to ship congestion, higher container rates, and goods shortages. Here's why I love me some Insider Monkey from Saturday. Why Archer Aviation skyrocketed on Friday. 11 companies, predominantly in the technology, energy, and aviation sectors, posted notable gains on Friday, and here's why. Archer rallied by more than 20% anew on Friday, adding 1.94 points to close at 11.51 apiece, following news that the U.S. could restrict Chinese drones, which would favor U.S. companies like Archer. On Thursday, the U.S. Commerce Department said it was mulling over banning Chinese drones in the country over national security issues. XRP has continued to gain steam in South Korea, leaving Bitcoin and Dogecoin behind. The token's performance did not start in the new year, bringing its momentum from last year when it became the go-to option for South Koreans. According to several reports, the token's trading volume leapfrogged Bitcoin and Ethereum in the country heading into the new year. The trend is evident in the token's trading volume against the Korean won on prominent South Korean exchanges. Yeah, well, here's Uncle Frank predicting once XRP is off the leash, it's going to be clowning Bitcoin and Ethereum in 2025 in every possible way. Will you look at this ass pump? He reminds me of the guys that got stuffed into their lockers in high school. As you all know, the SEC's appeal against Ripple is still in progress and could significantly impact the crypto market. The SEC is set to submit its brief by January 15th, shortly before President Trump's inauguration. President Trump has chosen Paul Atkins, a pro-crypto advocate, to replace SEC chair and gerbil rapist Gary Gensler. This shift could result in a more crypto-friendly approach, easing pressure on Ripple and other projects. Meanwhile, reports suggest that Gary Gensler, along with SEC litigation counsel Jorge Tinrero, is preparing a final filing on the Ripple case before Atkins takes over. Some believe this move could pose new challenges for Ripple, similar to actions taken by former SEC Chair Jay Clayton, another Washington bureaucrat suffering from atomic hemorrhoids. Guys, I'm trying to remain positive on this, but I don't see how this could be good news yet. If they knock down my coin again, I will be ready to buy more. Not investment advice or advisor. I wanted to share this ad from the Motley Fool from Sunday with you. AI Phase 2 could potentially unlock a 70x growth opportunity. Missed the first AI boom? Hopefully there's a second chance. 500,000 new millionaires made in just 1 year, all thanks to AI. Were you one of them? If not, the next question is, will you be ready when Phase 2 of the AI gold rush begins? While everyone's been fixated on the obvious winners like Nvidia, others have been not so quietly selling them off while shifting their focus elsewhere. $1 billion fund manager calculates that Phase 2 AI stocks could offer as much as 10x more upside potential than Phase 1 stocks like Nvidia. The CEO of Microsoft said, "This next generation of AI will reshape every software category and every business, including our own." And here's why this is critical right now. New data reveals that the majority of U.S. companies are getting ready to flip the Phase 2 on switch as we speak. AI business adoption has already doubled in just the last 10 months, but once this switch gets flipped, Phase 2 could potentially begin rapidly unlocking a multi-trillion-dollar opportunity. Now, this is just an ad, guys, but there's something to be learned here. It goes on, sound too good to be true? That's what I thought too, until I dug deeper and realized this pattern has repeated itself consistently throughout history. And that's true. You can look back to the Industrial Revolution, the rise of the internet, or the dawn of the smartphone era. In every case, Phase 1 was about building the foundation. But it's in Phase 2 where the real profits have always been made. Take the internet era, for example. During its first phase, hardware companies like Cisco and HP soared as they built the physical infrastructure. But the true wealth, it was created in the second phase by software giants like Amazon and Netflix, who use that infrastructure to build platforms and services that change the world. She has a point, guys. Obviously, the Motley Fool is trying to sell you a subscription, but anyone can use a screener, right? The staff of MarketBeat has one too. 7 AI stocks under 50 set to lead the second wave of innovation. If artificial intelligence is going to change every aspect of our lives, why do so many investors dismiss it as a bubble? One reason is that many analysts look at AI strictly from the standpoint of infrastructure. In that context, it's reasonable to wonder how long companies will continue to spend on AI-related hardware such as semiconductor chips. However, some investors are already looking towards the next wave of AI. This wave focuses on how companies can use AI to make their businesses more efficient or develop applications that consumers will not only use, but will be willing to pay to use. You guys with me? We're looking to rotate into the next hot thing. We went from AI to quantum, right? But what are the phase 2 stocks for AI we need to watch? According to MarketBeat, the 7 are SoundHound AI, Symbotic, Unity Software, Bentley Systems, DigitalOcean, Lemonade, Wrecker Systems. So I'm going to build a folder named AI Phase 2 so we can begin researching this group. We've all heard of more than half of these names. Okay, so maybe AI is a bubble and maybe it's going to pop. I'm not convinced of that just yet, but I do agree the profit potential for the second wave of AI could be substantial. My big concern is, am I late to the party, or is there still a big opportunity here? Take SoundHound, for example. I've got them up 891% over the past 12 months. They do voice AI solutions to move from sound recognition to conversational intelligence. Their technology is being used by over 10,000 restaurant locations. And as 2025 begins, McDonald's is considering using the company's technology in its 40,000 locations. It's also being used in a range of other industries, including automotive, smart devices, hospitality, and contact centers. Through the first 3 quarters of 2024, SoundHound nearly doubled its revenue year over year, but the company is yet to turn a profitable quarter. Now don't worry, Uncle Frank is not ready to bet the ranch, but I am going to research these 7 names to see if there's a diamond in here. As of Friday's close, it would only cost me $193 to buy 1 share of each of these stocks. I am not telling you to do that. Please understand, Uncle Frank is a position trader. I'm going to end up buying the stock that has some positive, forward-looking event, some forward potential with a good chance of achieving it. You may laugh, but this approach is how I found Rigetti or RGTI. That stock is up nearly 2,000% over the past 12 months. I started searching for quantum stocks because I believe that many traders would be rotating out of popular AI plays into quantum. I also started looking for quantum software developers too. I will say this about this group. Half of them have no sell ratings from analysts, those being SoundHound, Bentley, DigitalOcean, and Wrecker. The first one I'm crossing off the list is Lemonade. I don't particularly like insurance-related businesses, and this one is too woke for my taste. So there you go, guys. There's my little AI Phase 2 folder. Take a screenshot if you want to play along. I'm going to be digging through these symbols to try to find the one with a firecracker in its ass. I'll be updating you in the future on my progress. Okay, let's get ready for the bell. This month's events calendar is a haunted house. A black or white swan could land at any moment. We could get a sudden crash or vault to new all-time highs, maybe even both. We've already seen a terrorist event on U.S. soil. All the wars overseas continue, and a new one could surface at any moment. None of our economic crises have gone away, and some new ones have developed, such as the debt ceiling challenge. So let's go through the events calendar step by step so we're prepared for what's ahead. Starting with Monday, January 6, 9:45 a.m., we'll see S&P final U.S. Services PMI. But also, the U.S. Congress will certify Donald Trump's presidential victory on the 4th anniversary of the January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol. You see how they have to sneak that bullshit in there? Tuesday, January 7th, 8:30 a.m. Eastern, U.S. trade deficit, followed by job openings at 10. Wednesday, the 8th, we'll see ADP employment at 8:30 Eastern time, and you'll notice I have the VIX options expiration days on the calendar for every Wednesday this month because I trade volatility. Also, Wednesday, we'll see the minutes from the Fed Reserve's mid-December meeting. Now, we're closing the market on Thursday, the 9th, because Jimmy Carter passed away. So we're starting off the year with a really stupid decision. We may still get initial jobless claims. That's at 8:30 every Thursday morning, and the Fed will be watching for hot or cool numbers on that, so you should too. Then Friday has the big release, U.S. employment report and unemployment rate from the BLS at 8:30. Now the following week, things begin to really ramp up. Tuesday, the 14th, PPI. Wednesday, the 15th, CPI. So those are your inflation numbers. And we also have a court appearance in the SEC versus Ripple case. The U.S. Court of Appeals for the Second Circuit has ordered the SEC to submit its opening brief in its appeal against Ripple Labs. The SEC is expected to present detailed legal arguments for its appeal. So we could get great news, we could get awful news, we could get nothing. We'll see. But we could also get a longshoreman strike at midnight on the 16th. So that could make Friday options expiration exciting. That Friday, the 17th, is the first inaugural crypto ball, and we'll be watching the tweets for 2025 crypto info leaks. Let's hope we're celebrating the SEC getting its ass kicked in court on Wednesday. Did you notice all the dates from Tuesday, the 14th, to Thursday, the 23rd, are highlighted in yellow? That's because that's when the federal government could hit the debt limit, forcing the Treasury to take extreme measures. Now, what should concern us all is that debt limit time window includes Trump's inauguration day. That's only 15 days away. And did you know the markets will be closed on that Monday, the 20th, because it's also MLK Day? That makes the VIX calls expiring that week on the 22nd very interesting to me. So the question is, do the bad actors have something planned for us between now and then? That possibility has me on Swan Watch until Trump moves into the White House and Gary Gensler moves out of the SEC. If all that wasn't enough, Trump's inauguration week is also the week the World Economic Forum meets to plan your future, right? On Saturday, January 25th, we have a rare planetary alignment you'll be able to see with the naked eye. The week after that will be this year's first Fed meeting. I don't expect another rate cut, right? They will be listening very closely to the comments after the Wednesday decision. Then don't forget the Fed's favorite indicator, PCE, comes out on Friday the 31st. So take a screenshot so you know what's going to happen and when. See you at the bell. Hey, I want to thank you for watching, and please remember to hit the like button after this slide if you enjoyed the presentation. Subscribe to the channel and set the alert so you're notified when I have new information to share. See you at the bell.